Installing landscape lights inside polyvinyl chloride junction boxes, as described, violates the National Electrical Code. Specifically, National Electrical Code Section 300.15 ATWO prohibits the use of outdoor lighting fixtures in a weatherproof enclosure unless the fixture is specifically approved for such use. The landscape lights in question are likely not approved for use in a weatherproof enclosure. They are not designed to withstand a harsh outdoor environment and may pose a safety hazard. To properly install the landscape lights, you should mount them on a separate fixture base secured to the ground or a wall. Run the necessary conduit and wiring from the junction box to the light fixture. This ensures compliance with the National Electrical Code and provides a safe and reliable installation. The key issue is that the landscape lights need to be suitable for their intended environment. If they are enclosed in a way that isn't approved, it can lead to overheating, moisture buildup, and other issues that can compromise safety. Always check the manufacturer's specifications and ensure that the installation method complies with all applicable codes and standards. When working with electrical systems, it is crucial to adhere to the National Electrical Code to prevent hazards such as electrical shock, fire, and equipment damage. The National Electrical Code provides comprehensive guidelines for safe electrical installations, and it is essential to follow these guidelines to ensure the safety of people and property. In this case, the proposed installation method violates the National Electrical Code because it involves enclosing landscape lights in a weatherproof enclosure without proper approval. The National Electrical Code requires that all electrical equipment be approved for its intended use and environment. This means that the equipment must be tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory to ensure that it meets safety standards. When selecting electrical equipment, it is important to consider the environment in which it will be used. For example, outdoor lighting fixtures must be rated for wet locations to ensure that they can withstand exposure to rain, snow, and other weather conditions. Similarly, electrical equipment used in hazardous locations must be specifically designed and approved for those environments. In the case of landscape lights, they are typically not designed for enclosed environments. Enclosing them in a weatherproof enclosure can trap heat and moisture, which can damage the lights and create a safety hazard. The correct way to install landscape lights is to mount them on a separate fixture base that is designed for outdoor use. The fixture base should be secured to the ground or a wall, and the wiring should be run through conduit to protect it from damage. Additionally, it is important to use the correct type of wire and connectors for the application. The National Electrical Code specifies the types of wire and connectors that are approved for use in different environments. It is also important to follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing electrical equipment. The manufacturer's instructions provide important information about the proper installation and use of the equipment. Failure to follow the manufacturer's instructions can void the warranty and create a safety hazard. In summary, it is essential to follow the National Electrical Code and the manufacturer's instructions when installing electrical equipment. This will help ensure a safe and reliable installation. Remember that the National Electrical Code is a living document that is constantly updated to reflect changes in technology and best practices. It is important to stay up to date on the latest changes to the National Electrical Code to ensure that your electrical installations are safe and compliant. If you are not familiar with the National Electrical Code, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician can help you design and install your electrical system in accordance with the National Electrical Code. They can also help you troubleshoot any electrical problems that you may have. Working with electricity can be dangerous, so it is important to take the necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. Always turn off the power before working on electrical equipment, and never work on electrical equipment when you are wet or standing in water. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to leave it to a qualified electrician. In addition to following the National Electrical Code and the manufacturer's instructions, it is also important to perform regular maintenance on your electrical system. This includes inspecting your wiring, outlets, and other electrical equipment for damage. If you find any damage, it is important to repair it immediately. Regular maintenance can help prevent electrical problems and ensure the safety of your electrical system. The National Electrical Code Section 300.15 covers wiring methods for electrical systems. Specifically, Section 300.15 addresses boxes, conduit bodies, or fittings where required. Subparagraph 2 focuses on equipment. Each outlet box, device box, conduit body, or fitting shall be provided with a cover, faceplate, or a fixture canopy designed for the purpose. All unused box openings shall be effectively closed. So the issue with putting landscape lighting in a box is that the light fixture is not likely designed to be inside of a box. The intent of the electrical code is to ensure safe installations, and using a fixture inside of an enclosure for which it's not rated would be a violation. To make sure that you are safely doing it, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician who can help you determine the correct way to install landscape lighting in accordance with the National Electrical Code. The key takeaways here are National Electrical Code compliance, safety, and suitability of equipment for the environment and application. The goal is to avoid any electrical hazards and ensure a safe and reliable installation. To dive deeper into why this is an issue, let's consider the purpose of the National Electrical Code. The National Electrical Code is designed to safeguard persons and property from hazards arising from the use of electricity. It sets a standard for safe electrical installation practices. The National Electrical Code is not a design specification nor an instruction manual for untrained persons. It is a comprehensive set of rules and guidelines that qualified electricians and electrical inspectors use to ensure that electrical systems are installed safely and correctly. The National Electrical Code covers a wide range of electrical topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and best practices. Compliance with the National Electrical Code is essential for ensuring the safety of electrical systems. Failure to comply with the National Electrical Code can result in electrical shock, fire, and equipment damage. In many jurisdictions, compliance with the National Electrical Code is required by law. Now, let's consider the specific requirements for outdoor lighting fixtures. Outdoor lighting fixtures are subject to a number of requirements in the National Electrical Code. These requirements are designed to ensure that outdoor lighting fixtures are safe and reliable. One important requirement is that outdoor lighting fixtures must be rated for wet locations. This means that the fixtures must be designed to withstand exposure to rain, snow, and other weather conditions. Outdoor lighting fixtures must also be properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to protect against electrical shock. Additionally, outdoor lighting fixtures must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide important information about the proper installation and use of the fixtures. In the case of landscape lights, they are typically not designed for enclosed environments. Enclosing them in a weatherproof enclosure can trap heat and moisture, which can damage the lights and create a safety hazard. Furthermore, the landscape lights may not be rated for use in a wet location. If the lights are not rated for use in a wet location, they can corrode and fail, which can create a safety hazard. The correct way to install landscape lights is to mount them on a separate fixture base that is designed for outdoor use. The fixture base should be secured to the ground or a wall, and the wiring should be run through conduit to protect it from damage. Additionally, it is important to use the correct type of wire and connectors for the application. The National Electrical Code specifies the types of wire and connectors that are approved for use in different environments. If you are not familiar with the National Electrical Code, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician can help you design and install your electrical system in accordance with the National Electrical Code. They can also help you troubleshoot any electrical problems that you may have. It's important to understand the implications of using equipment in a manner not intended by the manufacturer and not approved by the National Electrical Code. This can lead to several problems, including firstly, overheating. Enclosing a light fixture in a confined space can prevent proper heat dissipation, causing the fixture to overheat. Overheating can damage the fixture, reduce its lifespan, and potentially create a fire hazard. Secondly, moisture buildup. Weatherproof enclosures are designed to protect electrical components from moisture. However, if a light fixture is not designed for use in a weatherproof enclosure, it may not be able to withstand the humidity and condensation that can accumulate inside the enclosure. Moisture buildup can corrode the fixture's electrical connections and cause it to fail. Thirdly, electrical shock. If a light fixture is not properly grounded or insulated, it can create a risk of electrical shock. This risk is increased if the fixture is enclosed in a weatherproof enclosure, as the enclosure can trap moisture and create a conductive path for electricity. Fourthly, code violations. As mentioned earlier, enclosing a light fixture in a weatherproof enclosure without proper approval violates the National Electrical Code. Code violations can result in fines, penalties, and the requirement to correct the installation. To ensure safety and compliance, it is essential to follow the National Electrical Code and the manufacturer's instructions when installing electrical equipment. This includes selecting equipment that is appropriate for the environment in which it will be used, installing the equipment in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, and performing regular maintenance to ensure that the equipment is in good working order. Remember, when in doubt, consult with a qualified electrician. They can provide expert advice and guidance to ensure that your electrical system is safe and compliant. Understanding the different types of enclosures is crucial for safe electrical installations. Enclosures are designed to protect electrical components from environmental factors such as moisture, dust, and corrosion. Different types of enclosures are rated for different environments. Firstly, there are general-purpose enclosures. These enclosures are designed for indoor use in dry locations. They are not intended to provide protection from moisture or dust. Secondly, weatherproof enclosures. These enclosures are designed for outdoor use and provide protection from rain, snow, and other weather conditions. Weatherproof enclosures are typically made of metal or plastic and have a gasketed cover to prevent moisture from entering the enclosure. Thirdly, dust-tight enclosures. These enclosures are designed to protect electrical components from dust and other airborne particles. Dust-tight enclosures are typically used in industrial environments where dust is a concern. Fourthly, explosion-proof enclosures. These enclosures are designed to contain explosions that may occur inside the enclosure. Explosion-proof enclosures are typically used in hazardous locations where flammable gases or vapors are present. When selecting an enclosure for an electrical installation, it is important to consider the environment in which the enclosure will be used. The enclosure must be rated for the appropriate environment to ensure that the electrical components are protected from damage. In addition to selecting the appropriate type of enclosure, it is also important to install the enclosure correctly. The enclosure must be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. The enclosure must also be properly sealed to prevent moisture and dust from entering the enclosure. If you are not familiar with the different types of enclosures and how to install them correctly, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician can help you select the appropriate enclosure for your application and install it in accordance with the National Electrical Code. Always prioritize safety and compliance when working with electrical systems. By understanding the National Electrical Code, selecting the appropriate equipment, and following the manufacturer's instructions, you can ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. Keep in mind that this information is for educational purposes and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before performing any electrical work. The goal is to help you understand the importance of National Electrical Code compliance and the potential hazards of improper electrical installations. With the right knowledge and precautions, you can ensure the safety of yourself and others. Furthermore, consider that the approval of electrical equipment is a critical aspect of ensuring safety. Electrical equipment must be approved for its intended use and environment. Approval means that the equipment has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory to ensure that it meets safety standards. There are several recognized testing laboratories in the United States, including Underwriters Laboratories, Intertek, and Canadian Standards Association. These laboratories test electrical equipment to ensure that it meets the requirements of the National Electrical Code and other applicable standards. When selecting electrical equipment, it is important to look for the mark of a recognized testing laboratory. This mark indicates that the equipment has been tested and certified to meet safety standards. Do not use electrical equipment that does not have the mark of a recognized testing laboratory. Unapproved electrical equipment may not meet safety standards and could create a safety hazard. In addition to looking for the mark of a recognized testing laboratory, it is also important to read the equipment's labeling. The labeling provides important information about the equipment's intended use, voltage, amperage, and other important specifications. Make sure that the equipment is appropriate for your application and that you understand the labeling before using the equipment. If you have any questions about the approval or labeling of electrical equipment, consult with a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician can help you select the appropriate equipment for your application and ensure that it is installed safely and correctly. Ultimately, the safety of an electrical system depends on the quality of the equipment used and the skill of the person installing it. By using approved electrical equipment and following the National Electrical Code, you can help to ensure a safe and reliable electrical system. There are other sections of the National Electrical Code that you might consider when evaluating these situations. For example, National Electrical Code Section 410.30, which covers the support of lighting fixtures, is very important. It requires that fixtures be supported independently of the outlet box, unless the box is listed for the weight of the fixture. This section is particularly relevant when attaching landscape lights to the lids of junction boxes. The junction box lids may not be designed to support the weight of the lights, and attaching the lights to the lids could violate this section of the National Electrical Code. In addition, National Electrical Code Section 410.36 covers the wiring of lighting fixtures. It requires that the wiring be protected from physical damage and that the connections be made in a safe and reliable manner. This section is relevant when running wiring from the junction box to the landscape lights. The wiring must be properly protected from damage, and the connections must be made in a way that prevents them from coming loose or shorting out. The most prudent course of action is always to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector. They can provide expert advice and guidance based on your specific situation and ensure that your electrical installations are safe and compliant with all applicable codes and standards.